Since the beginning of time, it has served as a constant reminder of the passage of time. Through the process of peeling back layers of Earth, the beating heart of a planet was revealed, a location of towering solitude, of astounding beauty, and of secrets whispered in the wind. The Grand Canyon is a place that is really remarkable. However, as of late, a fresh rumor has been gaining momentum, a find that was found deep inside the embrace of the canyon, something that is so unbearable and so peculiar that it has sent chills down the spines of people all across the internet. Grand Canyon National Park is a highly popular national park destination, and some of the activities that tourists may enjoy there include whitewater rafting, mule rides, and walking from rim to rim. These are just few of the activities that visitors can enjoy inside the park. Canyons, river tributaries, and the adjacent territories are all included in the boundaries of Grand Canyon National Park. A location in the northwestern part of Arizona is where you'll find the Grand Canyon. Millions of people visit the canyon every year, making it one of the most well-known tourist destinations in the world. This park is one of the most frequented tourist destinations in the world. Moreover, the park has been recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site ever since the year 1979. From the 1880s forward, there were many measures introduced in Congress that were unsuccessful in their attempts to make the Grand Canyon a national park. This was a lengthy and difficult process. Having been to the region on many occasions, Theodore Roosevelt made the decision in 1908 to designate the Grand Canyon as a national monument. The legislation that would have made the region a national park was approved in 1919 and signed by Woodrow Wilson, who was serving as president at the time. The North Rim and the South Rim are the two components of Grand Canyon National Park that are open to the public. The Grand Canyon South Rim is the most accessible area of the national park, rising at an elevation of 7,000 feet above sea level. It has a multitude of locations where tourists may pull over and take in the breathtaking scenery. The Grand Canyon North Rim, which is located 1,000 feet higher than its southern twin, is not as well known as its southern counterpart because it is more difficult to reach, particularly during the harsh winter months when access routes are closed. The distance from one rim to the other may be traveled while traveling by automobile. However, if you want to traverse the canyon on foot, the Kaibab Trail will take you exactly 21 miles to reach your destination. It is possible that the weather you are experiencing might be quite different from one location in the Grand Canyon to another due to the fact that sudden changes in elevation have a significant influence on things like temperature and precipitation. While the Bright Angel Ranger Station on the North Rim is the coldest and wettest weather station in the area, Phantom Ranch, which is just 8 miles away, is the warmest and one of the driest weather stations since it is located in the middle of the desert. A mystery may be found deep inside the Grand Canyon. Boulders that have been there for 1 billion years have vanished in the canyon. Since it was initially reported approximately 150 years ago, this great unconformity has generated a great deal of excitement in the scientific world. Think of the red bluffs and cliffs of the Grand Canyon as Earth's history textbook, said Bara Peak, a geologist from the University of Colorado Boulder, in a statement. The Grand Canyon is the world. The granite cliffs of the canyon may be scaled down to the point that one can go back in time over 2 billion years into the history of the planet. There are also chapters missing from that textbook, which state that in some regions of the Grand Canyon, rocks that date back more than 1 billion years have vanished without a trace. In a recent study, researchers headed by Peak have identified a possible explanation for the absence of rocks. This explanation is based on the fragmentation of Rodinia, the ancient supercontinent that existed on Earth roughly 700 million years ago. In the case of the Grand Canyon, the upheaval was so powerful that it most likely swept boulders and silt into the ocean, which is equivalent to 1 billion years worth of sediment accumulation. In 1869, John Wesley Powell went on a boat excursion down the Colorado River, which was responsible for carving the Grand Canyon in Arizona. It was during this journey that Powell first characterized the Great Unconformity. According to the findings of the experts, it was one of the earliest geologic landforms in North America that was fully described and posed a mystery. During the spring of 2021, Peak and her crew successfully performed an excursion similar to the one that Powell had undertaken. They were welcomed with the same harsh barrier between the Grand Canyon rock strata, which could be seen from the river. According to the findings of the experts, rocks that are between 1.4 and 1.8 billion years old have been discovered at certain locations throughout the canyon. These rocks are found laying under rocks that are 520 million years old. In his words, "There are beautiful lines," Peak stated. When you look at the bottom, you can see quite clearly that there are rocks that have been pressed together under pressure. Their layers are arranged in a vertical fashion. After that, there is a Q-top, and above that, there are these stunning horizontal strata that are responsible for the formation of the butts and peaks that are associated with the Grand Canyon. Using a method known as thermochronology, Peake and her colleagues were able to track the history of rock heating in order to get a more in-depth comprehension of the geological history of the Grand Canyon. The immense pressure that is created on top of rocks that are buried at a deep depth in the ground causes the rocks to rise in temperature. This is because the rocks are buried at a greater depth. The process of toasting, on the other hand, leaves a chemical footprint of minerals in the rock, which provides information about the history of the heating that took place. During the course of their research of the Grand Canyon, Peake and her colleagues investigated samples of rocks from all around the canyon. They discovered that the history of the Great Unconformity may be more complicated than was first believed. The experts have come to the conclusion, on the basis of their results, that the geological processes that have taken place in the eastern and western parts of the canyon may have been separate throughout the course of time. Peake asserts that there is not a single block that has a temperature history that is identical to the others. The researchers arrived to the conclusion that the disintegration of Rodinia, the supercontinent that existed before to the more well-known Pangaea, was accompanied by a series of smaller faulting occurrences. The occurrence of these events occurred around 700 million years ago. It is likely that the violent faulting caused a significant amount of the ground in the surrounding area to be torn up, which resulted in stones and silt being washed into the ocean. It seems that the granite that serves as the foundation in the western half of the Grand Canyon was brought to the surface around 700 million years ago. On the other side, the identical stone may be found buried under kilometers of silt in the eastern part of the canyon. While the researchers are in the midst of creating the Great Unconformity, they have a hypothesis that suggests the storm may have torn at the eastern and western parts of the Grand Canyon in different ways and at relatively different times. Consequently, the Great Unconformity would have been established as a consequence of this. The results of the team are helping to piece together what happened during this vitally crucial age for the Grand Canyon, as well as other areas in North America that have seen periods of time that are analogous to the Grand Canyon. This effort is being made possible by the fact that the team's findings are providing assistance. We have new analytical methods in our lab that allow us to decipher the history in the missing window of time across the Great Unconformity, said Rebecca Flowers, who is also a geologist from the University of Colorado Boulder. Flowers is a member of the University of Colorado Boulder University. Flowers has a co-authorship position on the publication. We are doing this in the Grand Canyon and at other Great Unconformity localities across North America. Click the subscribe button to receive daily updates on anything interesting and strange, and give this video a thumbs up if you like solving the mystery that's causing internet chills.